Okay, you guys, so this story is about Rachel Morin, a mother of five who at first was reported missing on Saturday, and then the next day it turned into a tragic event, and her body was found on the Ma and Pa hiking trail in Bel Air, which is in the Hartford County of Maryland State. Now, unfortunately, on Sunday, her lifeless body was discovered about 1 p.m. Authorities are conducting an investigation to unravel the circumstances surrounding her mysterious death, leaving the local community, of course, in shock and seeking answers in this unsettling incident that's involving Rachel Morin. So let's listen to the press conference that they had yesterday first.
Good evening, everyone. Thanks for coming up this evening. There's days I absolutely love being the sheriff of Hartford County. This is not one of those days. We're here to follow up on what I think our entire community knows, sadly, what is a homicide along the Mampa Trail here just outside the town limits here in Bel Air that happened sometime early this morning or today. But at approximately 11:23 last evening, our deputies responded to a report of a missing person. It was reported by the individual's boyfriend that Rachel Morin, who's age 37, had headed out from her home on Old Emerton Road around 6 p.m. to go to the Mampa Trail. Once she had not returned as and when expected, the family was obviously concerned. Initial information from the boyfriend, again, the caller who reported her missing, indicated her car was at the lot at the trailhead here on William Street, behind like where Independent Brewery is, the people that are familiar with Bel Air.
Okay, so this is the entrance that he's speaking of. So this is William Street here, and this is the Ma Heritage Trail here in Bel Air. And as you can see, the trail goes up there and goes throughout the trees. So, of course, this is where Rachel Morin had entered. So if we come down here just to give you a bird's eye view of the area. Okay, so this is the parking lot right here where she would have parked. Her vehicle would have been here, and she would have been going down over there, just like these other people here that were going into the Ma and Pa Heritage Trail. So, again, if I exit the street view a little bit, just to give you a better, closer look here. So, again, I'm not exactly sure where her body was found, but this is the trail, and this is the entrance where they would have been talking about.
Um, the car was there, but she was not. During the initial search, again, deputies did locate her vehicle at the William Street entrance. The vehicle, during the investigation, was towed to our CID building up in Forest Hill, where it will be processed for any and all evidence. At that time, last evening, an extensive search of the trail and surrounding area followed. A notice to the public was put out by this office, by our Office of Media Communications. That has had over 11,000 shares, and I'm going to touch on it a little here, but always thankful to our citizens here in Hartford County who assist us in solving so many crimes by sharing information as good as that's more the good side of social media. The bad side is there's also been a lot of false or early information shared that we don't want to see. We don't see false news out there. We also don't want to see information getting out before family members are informed that it could jeopardize the case. So we always, along with thanking the public, ask the public to be careful in what they share in their comments to make sure it's factual and based on information that we have put out here from the sheriff's office. While it was all of our hope, certainly mine and everyone standing up here with me, and the men and women of our office and all of our citizens, that Rachel would be found safe, at about 1:07 p.m., a citizen called 911 to report a female's body had been located off the trail. At that time, it was obvious that this person was deceased. The investigation went from a missing person investigation to a homicide investigation. While we firmly believe this is the body of Rachel Morin, that final determination, that final say belongs with the medical examiner, and that has not happened yet. And that's one of the things that's being shared out there on social media, that in fact it's factual, which I will admit here, standing at the podium, that that's the way this is going to go. But again, we have to let the process do what it's supposed to do. We understand this homicide causes a lot of concern, for us, our partners in the allied law enforcement agencies, and the safety of our citizens. The trail is one of our major Parks and Recs assets that runs through a lot of parts of the different through Harford County, and we understand that this is going to cause a lot of concern. The trail, the crime scene down there has been processed. The trail will be reopened. It was closed during crime scene processing, but trail's always been. We've had minor incidents, but it's always known to be a pretty safe place. But with that in mind, and with this incident in mind, the trail is going to reopen. In the immediate future, already starting, we will have increased police presence along the trail, all portions of the trail, while this case remains under investigation. And again, I got to thank our citizens. Many of them have written or called in with tips, social media tips. Each one of those tips is and has been or will be followed up on. We are going to be very careful with what we say in the early stages of this very active criminal investigation. So there's very little I can share as far as details of what investigators have seen and learned. But I will say, if you think you have just the smallest tidbit of information, you saw something in this young lady's travels yesterday to the trail, on the trail, investigators would like to talk to you and have that information.
Came to a tragic end earlier today when a missing woman in Harford County came to a tragic end earlier today when neighbors found her body at a local trail in Bel Air. WMAR 2 News' Janae Wright has the details of how she was found.
The Bel Air community is now mourning the death of 37-year-old Rachel Morin after her body was found on Ma and Pa Trail Sunday afternoon.
That something like this should not happen in Harford County.
Officers say Rachel Morin left her home around 6 p.m. Saturday and went over to the Ma and Pa Trail. Around 11 p.m., officers say her boyfriend reported her missing, which is when a search began for Rachel. Just after 1 p.m. Sunday afternoon, police got a call saying a woman's body was found on the same trail.
We firmly believe this is the body of Rachel Morin. That final determination, that final say belongs with the medical examiner, and that has not happened yet.
The call came in from Michael Gabrzeski, who says he joined the search after hearing about Rachel's disappearance. He says his daughter was friends with Rachel. He and his daughter and a friend found Rachel's body in a drain.
And I kept telling them to search the tunnels because I had a feeling about those tunnels. And I walked forward to search the one tunnel, and they searched the one, and that's where they found her.
Michael says the state they found her body in led him to believe she was murdered. Neighbors concerned about what may have happened to her after finding out her body was found.
I was just really sorry for the woman, and then I also heard that she had a family, she had children. So that's really tragic.
Michael says although he's devastated to find Rachel the way he did, he's hoping the family can find closure.
To bring her home so she can find a final resting place in her family, that door can be finally closed, and they can get the investigation on and hopefully catch the person that did this trifling act.
Many people are saddened by Rachel's death and are hoping police soon find whoever killed her.
I hope they prosecute to the fullest extent of the law.
Anyone with information that may help investigators solve this case is encouraged to reach out to the Harford County Sheriff's Office or the Bel Air Police Department. In Harford County, Janae Wright, WMAR 2 News.
Signs. Police have no suspects or motive. They will only say the body showed obvious signs of trauma. They're hoping autopsy results will help them find her killer. Sheriff's deputies on ATVs now patrolling the Ma and Pa Trail in Bel Air. The stepped-up police presence is in response to finding the body of 37-year-old Rachel Morin Sunday just off the path. Police have ruled it a homicide and warned hikers there's still a threat to public safety.
We do not have someone that we can say is a solid suspect. And, not knowing that, not knowing if this was or was not a targeted event specific to Rachel, then we are going to say, yes, be aware, be thinking that there could be somebody out here who this was a random event.
Hikers appreciate the added patrols.
It does make me feel a little better that the police are, making sure that we're safe, and we've seen them on the trail.
It seems like a shock to the community. It's definitely not something I think this far north that happens very often.
According to police, Morin, a mother of 5 and fitness enthusiast, was last seen around 6 p.m. Saturday when she went for a walk and jog on the trail. Morin's boyfriend reported her missing around 11:30 p.m. and advised her car may be at the parking lot of the William Street trailhead. Police also asked the community to help in the search. Around 1 p.m. Sunday, someone called authorities saying they found a body off the trail. Police confirmed it was Rachel Morin.
Part of the investigation is going to be tracing back her steps from the last time she was seen to when she arrived at the trailhead, because that's where her car was discovered.
Rachel's sister Rebecca created a GoFundMe page to pay for a funeral and memorial fund. She wrote on the page, "This was not an accidental death, and she did not go willingly, and she deserves a funeral worthy of her beauty. If there are any remaining funds, they will go toward things her 5 children may need." Police say the community is really stepping up by providing tips.
I think we do stuff a lot as a community, and we stick together and finding someone, and we're trying to find details and clues as to what happened and what we can do and stay together and just keep the love growing.
Police ask anyone with information about this case to give them a call. The number is 410-836-5430. Reporting from the Ma and Pa Trail in Bel Air, David Collins, WBAL TV 11 News.
Okay, so again, hearts go out to Rachel Morin, her children, and her family, and all those impacted by her death. Now, of course, this only happened on this weekend. Again, her boyfriend, which is a very new, fresh relationship that she's had with Richard Tobin. He's the one that called in to report her missing just after 11 p.m. She went on, again, the hiking trail at 6 p.m. at the Williams Street entrance there. And the GoFundMe that her sister set up, again, the extra money is going to go towards the children. So if anyone has the ability to dig into their pockets, and I'm going to put the link in the description of this video for Rachel Morin's GoFundMe page. And again, right here it says only started taking pics a few weeks ago. This is by Richard Tobin, but these are a few of my favorite, Rachel Morin is with Richard Tobin, so she's the one that's saying this. So only started taking a few pics weeks ago, but these are a few of my favorites, from the beach to the mountains. Richard Tobin says, "I love Rachel," because I guess people are accusing him of being the one that did something to Rachel. And then Richard Tobin says, "Looking gorgeous, baby," at Rachel Morin. Then Rachel Morin says, "Thank you, handsome." And then we get "Thanks, baby," and "Always." So again, hearts go out to Rachel Morin.